I'm Kevin Bolen. I oversee AI transformation for KPMG's advisory practice. The one conversation I tend to have with clients right now is how they think about AI in their business isn't so much that they need an AI strategy. What they really need to do is reimagine their enterprise strategy for the AI era.
All right, Kevin, how should executives think about ROI when it comes to AI? Is it the same way you measure other technologies?
No, it's a great question. I think that's the one we're hearing most often from leadership nowadays. It's gone from kind of the what if to what do I do with? And I think this is where organizations are getting a little tripped up in this early era of AI. The little joke I've used with a lot of leaders is to ask them kind of what's the ROI in your email system? And they don't really understand the question initially. I said, well, you spend millions of dollars on it. What's the return? And they said, we don't really measure it. And I said, why? And they said, because we can't live without it. AI needs to be thought of in the same way. It's just that foundational level of technology that's going to be across your enterprise that you can't envision living without.
So when companies are looking to integrate AI into their enterprises, I know there's a lot of ways to get there, but they're trying to get to value. That is the ultimate point. What are the approaches to get you there?
There's some immediate capture gains. There's an opportunity for change-dependent gains. And then there's really a reimagination threshold. So on the immediate capture, there's things that AI does really well today. Translation, graphic design. If you're spending money in those domains, you really need to reassess what you're doing there and look for ways to bring that cost down. I was talking with the CEO of a tools manufacturer, and they were spending about $12 million a year on translation just for packaging and instructions. And the reality is they don't need to spend that any longer. When you get to the change dependent, this is where organizations are getting tripped up. This is where the technology has been deployed. We know what its capabilities are, but you haven't really transformed the workers' use of AI. So what's their personal motivation? What are the metrics? Have you rewritten the job descriptions? Have you really empowered them with skills and training to use this tool? And are they motivated to do so? Because there's a lot of anxiety out there about, is this tool going to take away my job? And I think organizations are stumbling through that a bit. They're investing in the tech, but not the change management. And this last threshold around reimagining something is really where the ultimate benefit of AI is going to pay off. But you almost need to bring in an outside point of view to think organically from an AI perspective, to say, here's the output I'm looking for, here's the process I'm going through today. How would you attack this from an AI native standpoint? And let's reimagine our business in that regard. And I think that's where we're going to start to see the really transformative benefits of AI, but that's a couple of years away.
The companies that are adopting AI very well, what separates them from the other companies that are really struggling, and where do you see any commonalities and where this struggle is?
There is a learning curve, both for the people and the tech. And if you don't lean into that learning curve, you're going to be left behind. And it could almost be an insurmountable gap if you hold off for too long. So the organizations that are kind of fearless with their lean in on this and driving towards this, obviously with the right controls and trusted governance around this, but the organizations that are really promoting the use of this are the ones that are getting over that learning curve faster and seeing value pools emerge quicker for themselves. The tight side of the equation says we need to be more prescriptive with where AI is going to generate value for us and drive that technology and that use down into the organization where maybe it's not happening organically.
Let's talk more about people.
Yes.
People alongside their digital coworkers. How should businesses approach explaining this to their employees, what this new environment will be?
There's a whole psychological component to that rollout that I think we really have to spend a lot more time on understanding what that model is going to look like. We have to start to understand, what does that look like in the workforce environment, and how does that emerge over time? Are we peers? Am I, overseeing your output as a digital associate? Are you overseeing my output as a digital associate? Maybe fact-checking what I've produced going forward. That changes a very different dynamic in terms of the interpersonal relationships you can build with these technologies. And I think that's the real narrative, is where organizations have set that balance, really put the context of AI in the hands of their people with the right leadership messaging around the future of the enterprise and how this is valuable to everyone in there, really gets people excited to use this and bring it into their daily lives.
That's what leadership is. Kevin, thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate your time.